Welcome to Antisocial Commentary. We back for another week of our quarantine. I don't know what to call it, quarantine series. Where we just, keep it short because we just trying to stay sane in the house. I'm here with Mia. How you doing?
I'm here. I'm good.
My favorite person in the entire world. Let's get a drink in before we start, and we can talk about quarantine stuff. Well, I mean, honestly, what I wanted to talk about is pretty much what we were already talking about off camera. Just what have we been doing during quarantine, and for the most part, that's binge watching. Um, I for the first time I started The Wire. I've always heard good things about The Wire. You're binge watching.
I'm watching Scandal.
Watching
but
Scandal.
I did watch Scandal before, back when I was in college. It's just I didn't continue it, so I started from the beginning, and now I'm season 5? Yeah.
Well, you're not really watching The Wire, and obviously I'm not watching Scandal, so we really can't talk about what's going on. But we could talk about some of the stuff that we have watched. We watched Tiger King.
Yeah. Well, I paid attention to The Wire for a little bit, but not enough to say I could really talk in the storyline. But I see there's lots of drugs, lots of
F words.
yeah,
Both the F words,
lots of addicts.
Yeah, right. But I mean, so far I'm fucking with The Wire. It's interesting. I can see why everybody got so hype. There we go.
I will say I definitely didn't know that The Wire was, I guess, as old as it is. As
Oh, yeah.
looking at these characters, how young they look.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know The Wire was out that long ago.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's crazy that people our age actually want us to watch The Wire. That's crazy to me. It's like, were y'all watching it when it came out? Because we were only 10 when in the first episode, maybe a little older, maybe 12 the first episode when the first season came out. So it's like, were y'all niggas watching it? Because I know for facts, if you were watching it at that point in time, you shouldn't have been. But also, how did you understand what was going on? Because it's kind of hard to get onto it, and as an adult, if you're not paying attention, if you miss something, you have to go back to find what the fuck just happened. So it's one of those type of shows where you need to be watching it and focusing on what's going on. Definitely was made back in the time where people weren't binging stuff. Now, when it comes to binge worthy shows, a lot of the shows, they know you're at the crib just on your phone doing whatever, so they don't put so much detail in it because they know you're just gonna sit there and just run through the whole series. Whereas back then, you had to sit and wait. It came on. I think it came on I don't remember the day, but to just say it came on Monday nights, you had to be there on Monday at whatever time it came on, and you had to make sure you sat and watched. Of course, we didn't have cell phones we didn't have smartphones back then, so you didn't have as many distractions. But
That's what I used to call. What was the word I used to use? I used to call them pickup shows. I was like, it's not you have to pick up from the previous episode every
Right.
time. You can't just join in and
Right.
it's already 5 episodes in and think you're gonna get it.
right, I mean, honestly, there's not many shows you can really do that. Reality shows, maybe reality TV.
Yeah. Well, even with reality TV, they try to create some sort of a storyline now as well. So
Yeah.
it's they'll purposely make a big moment be the start of the next week. So
Yeah.
if you didn't see last week, you don't know why that big
Why,
moment
yeah,
is happening.
yeah.
So, yeah, they're trying to create some.
That's because
sense of
you watching
plot.
Love and Hip Hop. That's what that is.
I
They
don't
always
really
wait to
watch
put
it.
the fight at the end of the
Well,
episode,
I don't really
and then
watch Love and Hip Hop like that anymore. I don't really enjoy it the way I did, maybe 5 years ago. I don't enjoy it the same. I was thinking more of what's something that I watch? I watch Vanderpump Rules or Real Housewives. That kind of
Kardashians.
stuff. I do not watch the Kardashians.
It's okay. Did you see Courtney Kim fighting?
I saw that on Instagram,
Oh man,
but I did not watch the Kardashians. We know who watches the Kardashians.
it be on. I don't watch it. Sometimes it just be on the TV. Honestly, Kanye's on there.
Okay. The truth is, one of us watches it, and it ain't me.
Well, but I'm glad we brought up reality TV. Because let's talk Tiger King.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm gonna put my opinion out there. I thought Tiger King was cool. It should have been way shorter though. I feel like, what was it 7 episodes? Was it? I can't remember. It was 7, I think. Um, some of the like you could have made that like maybe 3 or 4 parts.
So
Like
what should have been removed?
I mean I can't really tell you what should have been removed, but it just was so long to get to the point. You know what I'm saying? Like
I just want to say I think this is funny that I'm behind this camera having a conversation with you like I'm interviewing you for a court case.
all right, wouldn't be my first time. It's not my first deposition.
Oh God.
Um, I mean,
But yeah, I agree. I do think that it was rather lengthy. I did end up falling asleep at the end.
yeah, you barely didn't like you fell asleep maybe like 2 minutes left.
Maybe it wasn't something we were supposed to binge all in one night. 'Cause
Well,
we didn't
yeah,
watch it
yeah, we
within
we
a
did,
day.
yeah, we
watched
did,
it at night, so
yeah.
maybe it was like a day binge.
No, you
Maybe
almost
was
made it
like
though.
a half and half binge.
No, you
But,
almost made it. You literally fell asleep with like no more than 5 minutes.
well, I'm pretty sure I saw the actual factuals that were necessary.
Well, you know what's crazy about the? Okay, so before I say that, who do you think like of all the characters? It was Joe Exotic, Carol Baskin, Doc Animal, and of course the employees of each of these sanctuaries. Who do you think was like? Who do you think was the worst person on there? Like, if we had to rank, not necessarily rank them, but like, who do you think was like, because you know, there's in stories, there's antagonists and protagonists, but none of them were truly a good person. So, who do you think was the least bad person?
So who was the least bad?
Yeah, out of the main people that's in it, not necessarily the people that
So
employees,
the lesser of the evil.
the lesser of the evil, exactly.
Wow, I don't know.
I think maybe Doc. Like for me, like Doc.
Well, I mean, everybody's evil, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Is all like different because they all had the animal thing in common. But
Yeah.
like, I'm pretty sure people are getting on her because they think she killed her husband. I'm pretty sure people are getting on him because they felt like he was running some cult
Yeah.
of wives that
Yeah.
it sounded like he was taking these girls in from the time that they were 16.
Yeah, and apparently that's not true. Apparently that part wasn't true. Well, apparently a lot of the stuff that's and let's be fair to everybody. Carol, a lot of stuff about Carol wasn't true. A lot of stuff about Doc wasn't true. A lot of stuff about Joe Exotic wasn't cool. True. Yeah. Whoever's making the documentary, whatever their narrative is, they have the final edit. You know what I'm saying? Like you could put bad stuff in there. Like that video that just came out the other day about Joe Exotic talking about why can't he say the N word? You could have put that in the show, but y'all didn't. So it's like y'all were clearly trying to make it seem like Joe was the good guy. And of all the people on there, I guess kind of, but you got to remember he was coercing straight men to marry him with drugs though. No, it's different.
And that's why I'm not going to understand. Because
Yeah.
I'm not somebody who's addicted to something. So
Right.
you're not going to convince me
Right.
to just do this because you're feeding my addiction.
I mean, it's one thing, and this isn't right, but it's one thing to be a gay man. It's like, hey, I can convince this straight man to, be with me. That's not okay. That's not right. But it's a different thing than not only are you going to be with me, the only way I'm going to have you be with me is you're going to be on drugs. You can't leave the sanctuary. I give you all the drugs you want, but never can leave. You know what I'm saying? So like we can't sit here and act like Joe Exotic was doing the right thing. Like if you go back and watch, there's a point.
People living in some horrible living conditions.
Exactly. Like yeah, it's like
No running water.
y'all eating off of like the back of a Walmart truck, like spoiled meat at that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all paying people like $100-something a week. Most of us get paid that in a day. Like that's wild. Especially to do what they did. Like y'all dealing with tigers. Like
People really putting their lives at risk.
oh for sure.
real.
Old girl lost an arm, but also with Joe, if you go back and watch, he at the beginning, and this is why I think Joe's he's not worse than Carol, and I'll explain why Carol's the worst person to me. If you go back and watch, Joe starts off saying, "Hey, I'm doing this we need to do things for the animals. Everything is like he's making it seem like we need to do more conservation efforts. Like at the very beginning, this was like a clip they showed of like a young Joe, like from like the '80s, and so he starts off, being all about the animals, and then as time goes by, to be able to pay for all this, of course you start breeding the animals and selling them on the black market, whatever. Maybe you got a little greedy, so you lost your way. So you started off good though. Let's not forget you started off good. Now this is my issue with Carol. Carol started off being a breeder, and she couldn't I guess keep up with everybody else. So she stops breeding and is now sitting on her high horse telling everybody, "Hey, y'all shouldn't do this. That's not right." Blah 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 blah. So you started off bad and then try to turn into good because you couldn't do what everybody else was doing. So to me, it's like the only reason you are pointing the finger at everybody saying like, "Oh, don't do that. You're doing wrong," is because you're too you're not. There's no other. You have no other angle. It's like a person that's
We can't assume that she saw the error of her ways. She saw her lies.
Please, she killed her husband. Let's
but I mean, I don't recall them saying that she couldn't keep up or whatever have you. But I mean, wouldn't that make her like the better for a person as far as that situation goes? That she started off bad and changed to good. Starting off good and going bad, like that doesn't all of a sudden make you the good guy.
Well, right. Like I would agree with she would be that she's a good person if she wasn't still doing the stuff that the other people are doing. Like she was like, "Oh, y'all are exploiting the animals, blah 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 blah." But it's like, don't you run a park? Don't you charge people to come to your park? Don't you like? So how are you not exploiting the animals, but everyone else? I guess because she doesn't let people take pictures with them or whatever. Like,
I mean, yeah, she's definitely a hypocrite in her own right.
Exactly.
I don't know if saying that she started off one way and changed would be the reason why I would feel that. But for Joe, like for you to start off with the good and then you got greedy, that is what makes it all bad because you shouldn't have been. Like, first of all, you don't need 227 couple hundred pounds worth of something that it only takes one to kill you, and you got 227 of them.
I mean, let's be real. Like if we went to an animal sanctuary, how many tigers do you really need? Like 5? Like let's be real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we go to the zoo right now and they only have one tiger.
He was like, I mean, if they're going extinct, how else do you keep them going? You have to breed them.
Well, see, that's how he began. Like that's how you start off being good. Like, oh yeah, I'm starting off on the good track.
No,
but then when you start selling him, that's the problem.
Rationalizing like why it's okay to run the hot mess situation he had.
Yeah, I mean I agree,
you
but
got 227 tigers. If somebody has 5 dogs, that's a major responsibility.
Yeah.
And those things can be legitimately trained.
Yeah.
Like legit trained.
The tigers.
The dogs.
Yeah.
Somebody had 5 dogs.
Yeah.
That could be something that you could legitimately train, and that's still a major responsibility.
Yeah.
You're talking about 1 tiger, that's a lot. 5 tigers, that's a hell of a lot. And 227, that is extremely over the top.
I mean, just off your dog analogy, we have two dogs who are trained, house trained, potty trained, all the stuff that you need to know, and we still spend over $100 a month on them probably. Like, and that's just them. That's just food and like like vet stuff, medicine and stuff. Maybe not over 100,
I
but
was about to say that's a stretch.
Maybe not over 100, but like definitely probably about 75, somewhere in there. Depends. It depends.
Yeah, because I'm like, that's a stretch. They're not costly like that at all, but they're still an expense.
Yeah, but
whether
we can't
spend $20 on them or $200. They're still an expense. There's still something to be.
But look, on top of that, we can't leave the house for longer than 8 hours because they need to go outside. We can't leave the house longer. You know what I'm saying?
Leave their dog just.
But that's just to go off your analogy. Those aren't tigers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like these are dogs.
Yeah. So imagine what it's like with those stinking tigers.
Yeah.
And those people like. And don't get me wrong, I understand the concept of if somebody is living, like for example, when I was a nanny in college, the family that I worked for, when the summertime came, they wanted me to move in.
Yeah.
Now, that's not idealistic.
Yeah.
But understanding that if I would have moved in, they were like, okay, well, your pay would be adjusted because we're now supplying where you live.
Yeah.
And so I understand like his idea of, well, if I'm letting y'all live here, then I shouldn't have to pay y'all as much.
Right.
But he still was paying them nothing.
Yeah, basically.
Like he was paying them nothing at all, and then I'm sure that he didn't provide them no health care or nothing. I mean, his husband was missing multiple teeth.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was probably all meth related, but
I'm not sure, but I'm just saying, like the living conditions that they were in, it does not like the passion that they have for these animals, quote unquote, does not match. But I mean, then again, they did say that he was just going and picking up people who was in some type of struggle.
Right, yeah.
Like, well, you ain't got nowhere else to go, so come on.
Yeah, I mean, and I get that, give them a place to stay, give them some employment, and whatever. Especially because like they had the one guy that was had a criminal record. Sometimes it doesn't matter how much you get paid when you get out of jail. It's like as long as I have proof that I have a job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
I'm just thinking, like, dang, though, like, some warehouses be hiring criminals. Like, you could have been way better off.
But I think in his mind, you get to be around animals. I get a place to stay. You know what I'm saying? I doubt. Yeah, because he didn't seem like the type of person who just had a place he could just go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So from what it sounds like, you think Joe Exotic is the worst one on the show. And he's the protagonist. Let's not forget about that.
Who I think the worst one is because they
you got to.
Are hot mess.
I think it's Carol, but like just off the strength of you're so hypocritical about like I don't. And it's just me personally. I don't like people that are like I don't like people that stand on their high horse when you're just as bad as everybody else. You know what I mean? Like I don't like people like that. It's like I think. It's the whole concept of when you point one finger at somebody, three point back at you. So not only are you doing the same things as everybody else, so that makes you bad. You're also bad because you are trying to tell everybody else what they're doing is wrong, but you're doing the same thing. So it's like you got double the like it's double the awfulness in my opinion. But let's not get it twisted. Joe is not a good person. Like the whole, free Joe Exotic, blah blah blah. Joe's not a good person. All of it was a mess. Yeah, I mean, of course, all his friends and people he trusted ratted on him, and that's I feel for him on that one because they definitely set him up. But it's like, let's not forget that you were coercing men to be married to you. You are breeding those animals. You did. Whether you meant it seriously or not, you did offer somebody money to kill the bitch. Like. You're not a good person. Like and Carol, that's another thing about Carol. She was going over the top with trying to shut his shit down. So it's just like
they had like a weird obsession with
each other. Exactly. Yeah. It may have been like I think it might have been like 20 years worth of going back and forth with them. I didn't want to just make this whole thing about Tiger King, but I'm not tripping. It's cool. Just the only thing that me and you both have watched, I think, since the quarantine is like we watched together.
And we watched All American.
All American. We'll talk. We need to talk about that on the next one when we get a chance. Let's talk about it on the next one because this season, and I think you liked the season more than I did.
It's not so much that I liked it. It's just I wanted to go ahead and get done with it, and you were # over it.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll talk All American next time. But that's the pod for this whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just hope y'all staying sane, staying healthy. Stay inside, please. Stay inside. You don't need to go outside. There's nothing you need to do out there that you can't do anything. There's no clubs. There's no bars. There's nowhere you can't hang out. Just stay inside. I'm Chris. That's Mia. Have a good day. Man, fuck Joe, guys.